Hi everyone, I'm Teacher Meg and welcome back to the Leadership Series. This is Module 3.1. We're going to look at leadership myths and strategies. Okay, so first of all, there are 4 statements I'd like you to take a look at. Number 1, everyone can be a leader. Number 2, leaders deliver great business results. Number 3, people who get People who get to the top are leaders. And number 4, leaders are great coaches. Now, what I'd like you to do right now is press pause, and in your journal, I'd like you to write down what you think of the following statements. True, false, more or less, not so much. Anything, your opinion, I'd like you to press pause and just write down a little something about each one of these statements in your journal. Okay, so just press pause and come back when you're ready. I hope you've made your opinions on those things, and what we're going to do now is talk about them. All right, they are actually the 4 myths, very popular myths about leadership. There are more myths, but these are some that we're going to focus on in this module today. So myth number 1, everyone can be a leader. Now, that is not exactly true. It is possible to really fight to be a leader, but there's many executives, people out there who just don't have the self-knowledge or authenticity necessary for leadership. It's like we looked at in our last module of emotional intelligence, right? You need to get that self-awareness, the self-regulation, the motivation. It needs to be there for you to be able to start on this process towards leadership. Okay, so yes, self-knowledge, authenticity, being real. That's just a little part of the equation though. Individuals, they have to want to be leaders. Like I said, motivation. And there can be many talented employees who just aren't interested in shouldering that responsibility and taking it and making it happen. It's not a priority in their life. They're not motivated. All right. Others, many, prefer to devote more of their time to their private lives than to their work, like family, friends, social life. After all, it's totally natural. There is more to life than work, and there's more to work than just being the boss. So that would be our myth number 1. Myth number 2 is that that's myth number 1, is that leaders deliver business results. Well, not always. Okay? If the results are a matter of good leadership, then picking leaders would be easy, right? Okay, you. It'd be easy to know, oh yeah, that person, they did well in their company, we know they're doing good. That person, oh yeah, you could see, look at, they're making millions and millions of dollars, they are a good leader. Sometimes that both come together, but not always, right? In every case, the best strategy would be to go after people in companies with the best results. But just like life, things are not that simple. Businesses in seemingly monopolistic industries can often do very well with competent management rather than simply great leadership, right? Basically, they have a good manager, their company is going to do well. And at the same time, equally, some well-led businesses do not produce results, particularly in the short term, right? So by well-led, I mean in the leadership style that we have been talking about, right? Sometimes you do need more of a boss than a leader, right? Especially when you're on a time frame where that autocratic or authoritarian, sorry, I can't speak today, guys, that autocratic or authoritarian style comes in that we talked about in module number 1. Okay, let's look at number 2. Number 3. People who get to the top are leaders. Da, 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 da. Now, not necessarily. Sometimes, maybe, sometimes no. This is one of the most persistent misperceptions, is that people in leadership positions are leaders. But people who make it to the top may have done so because they simply have good political judgments. You know, they thought, oh, I think this is going to happen, and they were right. It's like beginner's luck, even though they might not be beginners, right? It's not necessarily because they had true leadership qualities, right? What's more is that real leaders are found all over the organization. We talked about how it does not involve titles, right? It can be the executive area and the shop floor. So by definition, simple way to put it, leaders are simply people, any kind of person who has a follower or followers. It's not about rank, you know, it has nothing to do with that. There's been effective military organizations like in the US Navy. They've long realized that actually developing good leaders throughout the organization is very important because, of course, you're going into life and death scenarios where people have to be willing to trust the judgments of their superior. When it comes to really bad cases, if they don't trust that person, they're not going to follow them, right? Especially when it comes to, you know, getting shot and dying and all that sad thing. Anyways, next one. Number 4, leaders are great coaches. Sadly, we have to say they're rarely great coaches. The whole at-home cottage industry business has grown up around this teaching that good leaders ought to be good coaches. But that thinking assumes that a single person can both inspire the troops and impart technical skills, which is not the case, right? Of course, it is possible that great leaders may also be great coaches, but we see that only occasionally. More typical leaders, they would be like Steve Jobs, whose distinctive strengths lie in their ability to excite others through their vision and not just their coaching talents, right? They have this beautiful goal and they get everyone excited about it. Come with me, it's gonna be amazing. Life is gonna be great. You're gonna be a better person for this. You're gonna get your heart's desire. Everyone's gonna be happy. And in conclusion, those are the 4 popular, or some of the 4 popular myths about leadership that we'll be discussing. So I hope you've learned something new in this video. You'll see in the link below, or in the description below, there's a link there for Steve Jobs, and you'll notice how he gives this motivational video and how the way he speaks, it does have that effect to focus on their vision and what he saw with his future and all these wonderful ideas. And Everyone's inspired by him, partly because he's a good speaker, but partly because you can tell he's really passionate with what he believes and what he's about. And he is definitely one of the most influential leaders of our day, one could say. Anyways, go watch the video and continue on with the second module in this, or second part in this module series, module 3.2.